All right, people. Now this is fucked up. I was gonna do. I'm sorry, I cuss so much. Look, I was gonna do some. I had Beth here, my faithful secretary and technical assistant. I've been looking at myself. I've aged more in the last 6 months since we've been here than I have in probably 5 years. God damn, I look like hell. And a lot of it's due to this fucking house. These fuckers have been poisoning me and my mom, and they're starting to get Beth. I think they were starting to get Beth because they were under the impression that by the time she started to show any symptoms, we'd already be dead because I'm already having difficulty breathing. My mom's been to the hospital about 4 or 5 times. I've had to drive her. Motherfucker, I don't drive. I hate driving because I quit driving. If I can't do it legally, I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? And where she's come out and said, Randy, take me to the emergency room at like 2 in the morning. And it's this shit. They're spraying shit through the fucking through the ceiling. They got. I don't know how they do it. It's modern technology. I'm sure somebody out there knows. I don't. I don't know. Hey, when I was an aircraft mechanic back close to 30 years ago. God, I'm old, man. No, and but we use books. Everything we have is books. You work on an airplane or a helicopter, you got the book, the maintenance manual, the parts manual, and beautiful drawings. I mean, these things are drawn beautifully, and they were drawn before computers by people with their hands, with sitting at a drafting table. They draw this intricate drawings of the screws and bolts and all this fucking shit. No computers. These were people drawing. They were doing this in World War II back in the 40s. In the 1940s. I forget, this is the 2000s. But so I learned how to use books to fucking do things. I didn't learn all this computer shit. I didn't have access to instant. Uh, I call it computer smarts. I don't have computer smarts. I'll be doing something sometimes, and somebody will go, "Oh, you should do it that way. It'd be a lot easier and cheaper." I said, "Well, do you want to do it?" "Oh, no, no, no." They act like they know they saw it on a computer. It's like TV. This one asshole. I was a lead framer. I was a lead carpenter on a framing crew, or I was a crew leader sometimes. Lead framer, he's a guy that's pretty much, if you're not the lead framer and you got a question, you can ask him, and usually he'll know. And if he doesn't know, he can figure it out. Or he'll go to the contractor or his boss and say, "Hey, what are we going to do here? How do we take care of this?" But generally, he knows 99 or 90% of the time what to do in a situation, how to fix things. Had a kid tell me one time he thought I was a good carpenter, not because of what I knew, but because anything that was ever fucked up, I knew what to do to fix it. Well, after 25 or so years, if you either get good or you're stupid, and I got good. Well, that doesn't mean I got good overnight. It took a lot of input. It took a lot of me fucking up. you know, it was, so he thinks that maybe I know because I've done some of it. Okay, I know how to fix it because I have done something fucked up like that, or if the concrete or whatever, something where we've had to solve it. And so anyway, they've been fucking. This is a house of horror. We've been here fucking. I'm saying over 6 months, and the more I find out, the more I'm amazed, and the more I am appalled, and the more I am fucking pissed off. Number one, like right now, I don't know if you can hear it. It's like almost like alarms in the background. When I'm riding my bike down the fucking road from my house, if I go by a store, or I go any commercial type place, you'll hear this beep 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 beep. And yesterday, and I was always like, is something that they're tracked? I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what kind of lies these cocksuckers. Somebody told the cops, and everybody lies about me to get us put in this house of horrors. This fucking house is incredible. And when I start showing you some of this shit and some of the shit that I've done, I've actually done some damage to it, and I don't care, and I could do a lot more if they piss me off more. They've been spraying poison on me. They have directly been spraying poison and drugs on my fucking ass when I'm sleeping, when I'm awake. Um, I had to build like a tent to try to stay out of the way of their shit. Well, guess what? They snake lines in, and they're spraying up. It's like, what? How the fuck are they doing this? At first it was just from the ceiling where I could. Now they're spraying from every walls. They're drilling holes in the walls and shit. I don't know how they do this shit. You know, I mean, I don't. I go outside. This one wall. I don't. I'm not. I don't know. They're probably doing it from up top and they snake. I don't fucking know. But I know what. I'm getting pissed and I'm done with it. And if the shit don't end tomorrow, this house may just end one way or another. I have no. I hate this house. I hate this neighborhood. I have not been. I've been treated like shit from the day the fire started, and I didn't understand why. Everybody from the Red Cross, the fucking Red Cross treated me like shit. The fucking the fire department was polite to me because they had to get the story from me. And yes, I'm the one that burnt the house down because I put the towel on the lamp in my room, and it was my room, and the door was locked. And of course, it was my fault. That's where the fire was. And the more I found out, the more I came to realize I didn't start that fucking fire. That was a fucking setup, and I took the fall for it. And not only that, they were trying to set me up for the fall with all kinds of shit. So I noticed that not one person in this neighborhood has ever talked to me. Not fucking. I go to the store. We're in a different section, so I go to a different store to buy my cigarettes and stuff. And the owner of this one store, he looks at me like I'm like, and I'm real polite to him and his wife every time I go in there to buy my smokes. Thank you. And I'm like, what the fuck? They must have been told some horrendous shit about me. you know, I don't steal. I don't shoplift. I I have inadvertently, which means accidentally, I have done it once or twice where I've walked out of the store with a shopping cart, and it's like, oh fuck, for like $2 or $3, and I'm like, I'm not going to turn around usually for $2 or $3. If it was something like very expensive, I think I would turn around. I wouldn't do that, but I just I'm not into that. There's you know I joined the army because I was in college and I was so fucking hungry. I stole a pack of fucking ham, lunch meat, so I could have a couple of sandwiches. And I was sitting there eating that fucking lunch meat. And I mean, I was kind of scared when I stole it. And I was saying to myself, I was saying, you know what? So there's no way I'm going to steal my way through college just so I can eat. I said, fuck that. And that's why I joined the army. And that's kind of why I don't do that. And plus, I know that everything that I own, everything that I own is through hard work. You know, it's not, shit wasn't given to me. I mean, all my life, I worked, and I started buying, but I bought nice stuff because if I was going to buy something, I was going to get the best I could for the money I had. So I wasn't going to buy crap. So I was used to buying good stuff and quality. And so when I lose shit, I see it as I worked for that. And right now, because I can't work because I'm kind of like hurt and crippled and shit, because I can't work, it's like, fuck, the stuff that I lost in and after the fire, 'cause a lot of stuff got just disappeared, poof. Like belt sanders and drills and um, jigsaw and my Makita saw and shit that I'll never be able to buy again because each one of them represented a job that I did, and it may have been years ago. And I had the belt sander. It wasn't a Bosch, it's kind of a handy homeowner one, but I mean, for doing something at the house, I've had it for 20 or so years. But for doing something around the house, sanding on a tabletop or something, I don't have a belt sander anymore. I don't have a lot of things. One of my routers got stolen. I'll never be able to replace it. Um, just a whole bunch of shit, and my clothes. I lost almost all my clothes, which I didn't have a whole bunch of really nice stuff. But I mean, I remember this one girl saying to me, I was like, I wasn't bitching about the clothes. I was just like, man, this fire, really, this was back right after the fire, before I knew anything or anything. I said, we were talking on the phone, and she's a friend of mine, and she goes, What are you worried about? You need to get a whole new wardrobe. I guess she didn't realize I don't really go out that much. You know, a whole new wardrobe. I'd be happy to have a couple of pair of shoes that are nice. You know, and I don't. I I got one pair that I can wear. I guess. You know, really no, I two pair. I guess, but I don't have anything real nice. My clothes. I try to go to Goodwill each month, buy a couple of shirts, and you know, the only the only jackets I had all winter. Well, wintertime's over now. We're in. I call it the long, grim march through summer. When you get up in the morning and you go to work at 7 a.m. and you're sweating, and it's not going to get any cooler till you get to that air conditioning. I call that the long, grim march through summer, and it starts about this time of year, about April. You might get a few cool nights or something, but it's a dry season right now, and it's just as hot. And there's a radiation factor. This time of year, the radiation factor, like people complain about the humidity and the heat during the summer when it's all muggy and shit. Well, yeah, but I'm sweating, and that sweat cools me down. And when I used to work framing, and I made sure I had plenty of water and fluids and stuff, and that flushed my body out from all the drinking I used to do. So I think that kept me young for a long time until everything. But I knew what it took to get through the long, hot days, and we knew that April came, and it was going to be probably maybe in September it might cool down. So you got all April, May, June, July, August, and September. And September's usually rainy. It's usually hot, 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 but you might get a cold front towards the end of September. You might, and by cold I mean it might get in the 60s, might even get in the high 50s, but you'd be wearing a jacket, of course. I would. I went out tonight. I don't know what the temperature was, low 70s, might have been 69 or something. But my hands, I had when I got to Germany, I got over there and I didn't have a whole lot of cold weather experience, and I didn't have any long johns and all kinds of shit. And I was out in the snow in the field a lot, and I got frostbite. Not where your hands turn black or anything, you know, but it was enough to where ever since then, the cold affects my hands and feet especially, and once my feet get cold, ooh, that's a bad thing. But because I'm serious. But my hands, like I went riding tonight, and just on my bicycle, my electric bicycle, which means I'm not pedaling to, I don't pedal at all, God forbid. And so my hands got numb, and they'll like this morning I was out and it was colder. I didn't realize how cold it was, and my hands actually they turn almost white, from the I guess the blood flow or something. But I'm really kind of freaking out right now because these people that are running this game, whatever you want to call it, they're in wrapped up with the local sheriff and whoever owns or whoever is using this house. This house is actually incredible. And the more I find out about it, the more I'm kind of impressed, but the more I'm also realizing that what a house. This is like that movie, The Cabin in the Woods or something. I asked mom. I said, how the hell did you get? How the hell did you wind up getting this house? Because I wasn't sure. I thought maybe her church friends or something. She said she rode down the road. We were at the house one day, and I was there every day for almost 2 months, and I would sweat out every day. I mean, it was so fucking hot, and nobody would bring me water, nobody would bring me lunch or anything. It was incredible. I just couldn't understand. Everybody was everybody's too busy to fucking even stop by and give me a hand or take me to get a coke or anything. And I was there for 2 fucking months, sweating my balls off, and I'd sweat out almost every fucking day. And sometimes I try to call my mom. I call her like 9, 10 times. She wouldn't answer, and I'm serious. And so, and I didn't want to leave because there was so much shit to be done, and I was so burnt out, and I was fucking in bad pain, and it took me a long time. I'm starting to feel a little better. This is 6 months later. I'm starting to feel a little better. And it's not from any help except from Beth. Um, she's honestly the only person that has helped me out, and this fucking this goddamn coronavirus shit's fucking weird, man. You know, I got this crap happening to me, and the fucking world's dying. You know, it's like the zombie apocalypse or something. And fucking you know, I guess I read something on the news that said China says they're not getting any new deaths. Well, you know, they were way ahead of us, so we're probably gonna, I guess, have more deaths, and sometimes gonna level off. There's a lot of places that haven't hit hard yet. Fuck. You know, my friend Brian helped me out. And, he, I tell him he's the laziest guy, laziest guy in Florida. He probably is, but you know, there's been times when you know he's actually he had all these people I know and knew and shit. But, you know, nobody came and helped me out. I couldn't understand it, and the more I started to find out, it took me a long time. You know, um, I guess I don't know what they told told everybody. You know, the neighborhood, but nobody's ever in this neighborhood ever talked to me. Um, nobody's ever offered to help me, or even my mom. You know, which that hurts me even more. You know, they would think my mom was bad, but I cuss. Oh God, do I cuss? The more I'm in pain, the more I cuss. And they knew this. They and they I guess specific. They took what was good and turned it bad. You know. I was, you know, I'm getting old. You know, my birthday, my past birthday a few weeks ago. You know, I turned 58. You know, I'm like, you know, God damn it, I don't. I don't feel 58. Best 20 years younger than me. When I'm talking to her, she knows so much more about so much than I do. You know, I mean, I've got more experience in some areas. You know, just because I'm so old. You know, but there's a lot of things that she knows that I ask her, and her advice that she gives me is always always right. That's why she's my secretary. I swear to God. God, if it was the 1950s, I'd be Perry Mason, and she'd be my sexy convertible driving secretary. You know, but this is modern times, and I'm broke, and she's broke, and we just try to do our best. And but she helps me immensely, and my mom, and she told me tonight. She goes, uh, said she gave me some good advice. I'm not even gonna say it. She said, "Don't burn the house down," but she's usually pretty good with her advice, so I'll try not to. Okay, damn it. Um, I'll try not to. I promise. Shit. You know, I'll just, you know. Well, anyway, ah, like right now, they're spraying shit on me right now. I mean. I can feel I can. It got so bad. My keyboard. I had to clean my keyboard. I mean, this is fucked up. I mean, I've been selling my. This is a Chromebook. People are like, "Oh, that's just a Android." I'm like, well, it's the only computer. I had the lowest like grades, the lowest grade Chromebook you can get, I guess, without buying it from Donald Trump. I don't know. I'm kidding about that, but that was my first one. I was so happy because I like music a lot, and I could put a song in and be like, yeah, I love it. Um, a whole bunch of music, uh, and so I want to put it on YouTube, and it'll bring it up. It's like, yeah, and I never had a computer until I got a Chromebook a couple of years ago, and then I bought a used one from somebody. Kind of, I could have bought another Chromebook brand new. I bought it as kind of a favor, whatever. And I said, look, I just don't want it to. I don't want the battery to die after 2 months and shit. Well, I don't know what died, but it was like 3 or 4 months and it died. And I really liked it. It was a nice one. It was a Hewlett Packard. It was blue, which kind of blue, like light blue. But it was a little pretty, But it was made for streaming music and stuff, so it was nice because that's what I like to do. I can order parts from my bike, without talking to people, And well, not so much the porn, but I'm still kind of a magazine guy. I'm stuck in the Middle Ages, I guess. But you can look up. Oh, the old like I've got some old Victoria's Secret model from the 1990s when the supermodels like Tyra Banks. Those are the ones. And um, oh, Jane. Oh, English girl. American medicine woman, medicine whatever. That woman, her can't remember her name. Jane. And let me think. Ah, I'm gonna have to look, man. I swear to God. Oh, what the hell's her name? Seymour. All right, Jane Seymour is the actress, of course, but this is gosh, her name's Seymour too. I can't remember her first name, but she was like the one where she'd be like on 2 pages. There'd be like 10 pictures of her. She's the money shot. And the other girls, but all these girls were like well, I don't know why I keep wanting to say this one name. I know it's not her name. Well, anyway, her last name's Seymour. These were like the original supermodels, and even the ones that weren't listed, as the supermodels, even though every one of them is beautiful. And I got these magazines. God, it's been about 10 years ago. I helped clean a house out, and I had them all in a trash bag, and we were hauling everything out. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna keep these and go through them, even though they were all kind of destroyed by the hurricane and stuff, water damage. And all the Tyra Banks ones got ruined. I mean, I don't have a single picture of Tyra Banks, but oh my God, she was stunningly beautiful. Still is, and I wish I had something. But what I've done is, I've had them, and they were in my garage, and most of the stuff in the garage didn't get burned, smoke damage and stuff. But those magazines, and I was even before the fire was framing them, I would get these pictures and make friends. Let me. I mean, who else has framed pictures of 1992, 93 Victoria's Secret supermodels? Well, I do, framed on the wall. You know, I don't. Oh God, I know it's fucking some life I have, huh? But well, the thing was, I was riding. I go riding out in the boonies, and people be dumping trash, and I was finding a whole bunch of picture frames. And I'm sitting there, and I go, you know what? These Victoria's Secret supermodel pictures are just sitting in these drawers getting fucked up, and why not frame them and do something nice with them, And that's what I started doing. And uh, I think that um, I, I was doing a montage one time on my mirror. I'll show you that sometime. I hope. I hope. And on the back side of the mirror, I had it on a turntable so I could spin it, different ways. It was around, it's like a round mirror. And and on the back side, I decided to put pictures of girls and stuff. And I started. I didn't finish it. I forget why. Um, but it wasn't the fire. This is well before the fire. But I had one picture with a like from a porn magazine with a naked girl, and it was kind of like it was the only thing that didn't fit. You know what I mean? I mean, not that she wasn't beautiful or anything, but sometimes the lingerie speaks for itself. Sometimes that's the I don't even know if it's a mystique or if it's just uh, a variation in the coloration or I don't know. But anyway, I tend to like that a lot better. Um, I mean, I still like naked women. I do, but also like the for years I used to collect the Bell's underwear models. They were the hottest underwear models. And years ago, like 30 years ago, it was J.C. Penney had about a couple year run of the underwear. I swear to God. And you say prefer to whatever, but I know I've got good taste in women and beauty and stuff like that. And what else? Sears occasionally, just sit there. The thing about the underwear ads, especially the Bell's ads, and I'm sorry, ladies, please don't be embarrassed because it wasn't like the thing about these underwear ads is they come out every week, and the girls are always, they're tasteful. These aren't these, but they're gorgeous. I mean, some are. All right, the Bell's ads, I gotta say they're all fucking hot. All right, but anyway, they come out and they got their hair done different. Oh, she got a haircut. So and stuff like that. And you go, you go on a porn magazine, and they got a pictorial, and the girl's got her hair done one way. She doesn't even flip it over the other way or anything. It's like, it's like money shot. Whoopee doo. Show me something, man. And sometimes you get one of those. What do you call them? I don't know who this chick is on TV, but she's fucking hot. But sometimes you get a model where she'll decide to put like lean like this. Oh woo, man, do something different here. No, but I mean, and then that's a once a month thing, and she's probably not in the same magazine. So I know everybody's into computers now, but I still just say the power gets knocked out or something. You're not going to go on a computer, but boy, yeah. All right, okay, that does sound good. But you can get, you still got the magazines. So, well, I don't even know how I wound up talking about that, and now I'm embarrassed a little bit, slightly. But oh, Stephanie Seymour. I don't think it's Jane Seymour's daughter or anything. It could be, for all I know. But I remember, I believe it was on YouTube, as a matter of fact. They had her on a Saturday Night Live skit, and I actually watched it with Stephanie Seymour. And these models are generally not actresses. Models they're different. They have a different attitude. And there's and I think there's a reason for it. When you're not, they want you to look a certain way. You're as a model, as an actress, you or what I mean. You have to um, constantly moving, constantly talking, or maybe even not, but you're live. If the model is the picture, the still picture, and that's what they tend to. They gravitate to different. And so when you get a lot of times when you get especially a model trying to do acting, it doesn't work out Well, people expect more of you too, and I think they expect too much. If they bring anybody that's not an actor, because it takes time to get used to um, talking to um, I guess to an audience, to a sorry about this. This is just a nervous thing of mine, and it's whereas it's like when I write. Um, I write. I wouldn't say I write totally different than the way I speak, but when I speak, I tend to use a whole lot of more profanity. I do. Um, um, well, especially if I know you. I wouldn't walk into a store and I don't do that. Or on the phone if I'm ordering parts from California. I had this one guy. Used to hang out, and I was had to order some parts for my bike, and I used to order them from the actual place that sold my bike in California until they sold out to another place, and then they kind of were assholes to me. I was like, "Fuck you! I'm not buying anything." Then it went from a girl being real nice to me and thank you, and us talking about the weather and the differences and everything. And how um, they thought Florida was kind of funny because they had a radio show called Florida Man, where and I guess they're turning it into a TV show. She was telling me about that, and I was thinking to myself about, and I was telling her how I thought about California, where people are driving down the highway shooting at each other. I thought, well, gosh, we don't do that here in Florida, and you guys think we're weird, but and how here where I live, we're along the coast, and there is not a single hill in this. If you drive on the roads, you're not going uphill. You're not going like up a hill. You drive out towards Arcadia on Kings Highway and stuff, and you get near the water plant. All of a sudden, you go, ooh, and it goes down, it goes up. And you don't think much about it unless you're used to living where it's flat, and then you go, well, that was pretty significant. Oh, what was that, 20, 30 feet? That's a lot. That's a big height change. Whereas if I'm riding my bicycle from, say, Veterans, um, I think Raintree is around 22 feet. Price and Toledo Blade is 25 feet. So that's miles of difference, and there's like a 3 foot elevation difference. And then from the time you ride, say Raintree to Veterans, you go to Peachland. Peachland's around 16, I believe, feet, something like that. So no, no, yeah, it might be 16. I think, yeah, 16 around there. So there's a little bit of a drop, but when you're riding a bike, I used to ride before my legs got all fucked up. I used to ride nice 10 speed, 27-inch tour, not the ones a little bitty like the Motobacons. No, I don't like those high pressure little bitty tires. But the 27-inch, tires with the regular Schrader valve on them and stuff. So I rode. I pressurized them max 65 because I want to fly. And I used to pump out some miles and some speed, and was always in good shape up until this shit happened. But so when I would ride and I would ride downhill, if there wasn't a headwind, even with the headwind, I've rode these roads forever. For next year, I'll have been in Charlotte County for 50 fucking years. I can't fucking believe it. Can't motherfucking believe it. 50 goddamn years. There's a house down the road here that in 49 years ago when we moved here, it was one of the first lawns we cut. We had a yard over off of Navajo over here off of Midway. I remember we had a yard there, and we had one on Veronica out by Peachland, and that was the end of the world. I mean, Peachland went to Forest Nelson. It was a different road then. I forget what it's called, and that was it. And past there was there was dirt road and a few other things. That was it. And so this, Veronica was the end of the world. And the railroad tracks are out there and everything. And 1971, I remember, that's 49 years ago, cutting that grass, and I ride by it on my bike, and I look over there, and it looks exactly the same. I mean, these people take care of it, but it's the same house that I mowed, the same. It's not like they changed anything. So it looks nice. I mean, they didn't you know put on some weird additions or change the roof or anything. It's all original. It's very nice, very well kept. And I think that the oak tree there was there when I cut when I was a kid. It's a I was in fourth grade. Hmm. Well, we used to work. We didn't have weed eaters there, so so me and Dad was self-propelled lawnmowers, and every year he'd buy me a new one because we had to work on those mowers in the summertime when we have 30 yards with you know hand mowers or whatever, and he had an edger, and they sometimes he'd have a not a handheld blower. He had this one thing that was like a looked like something from World War II that would suck up. Or you ever see what the hell's that name of that movie? Heavy Metal, the movie Heavy Metal, where they're laying out the cocaine or whatever they call it around. It looked like that. and, it worked. And sometimes we'd use it. Sometimes we'd have a broom, and guess who got to broom the sidewalk off? And that'd be a pain in the ass sometimes. But hell, my old man liked it. And well, every Saturday we had to sharpen blades and do anything. Mower not running hard to start or something. And I got to be a pretty good mechanic, because Dad he'd buy the manuals and he'd buy um, he'd buy everything. And so I learned how to be a mechanic, and I learned that you had two adjustment screws on your carburetor for for your Briggs and Stratton, and I love Briggs and Stratton now. And I could rebuild my carburetor myself, with a little fuel pump thing and everything, and I could tune that carburetor and I lean it out just like they do on airplanes. You lean them airplanes out, you can get a lot more range. However, you have to worry about burning those pistons and valves. And so every year, I would, as the season would get longer, and I'd be hating cutting all these yards every week because my dad being a school teacher, that's why we did it. 'Cause in the summer, he could make more, money mowing yards, and plus he could whip me around, get moving, boy, and see, I more of that season wore on, the more I wanted that mower to be fast, man. I mean, I was getting taller, my legs were getting longer. I could about run behind that son of a bitch. And so every year I'd burn up a mower. That mower would just be like, by the end of the season, it'd be like, throw me out in the junkyard. So I get me that wouldn't be brand new, it would be a used mower, but oh yeah, something new to play with. I had Toro Snapper. I had a green Toro derivative called the Fiesta, and that was one of my favorites. It was green deck instead of the red Toro deck, and I think it said Fiesta. I think that was the name of it, and it had a Briggs and Stratton motor, but it wasn't the kind where you pull it out, towards the rear. It came straight up, and it was cool looking. It was light and it was fast. And I burned that bitch up too, but it was like one of my favorites. And I had a Snapper, a big old clunky ass walk behind Snapper with like 18 gears. You had to shift it, and boy, sometimes you get up in the bushes, you try to stop it and want to keep going. It was like a mule, and but it would sometimes it would perform good. Um, so I had the Snapper for like a year. I didn't like it at all. It was like pushing around a dumpster or something. The Toros you could go under, and they had the front wheel drive. That's what I liked about them Toros. They had that front wheel drive, and you go up under something, you could lift that front wheel up, and you could pull it back. You didn't have to, pull it out of gear or anything. The rear wheel drives, you had to do that. Except now, when we start switching over to the Lawn Boys, that was the shit. Now, at first, we had some problems with the Lawn Boys until we learned how to take the blade off, and you take the exhaust off, and that exhaust would get all clogged up with all that um, the oil and the gasoline and stuff. They get clogged up in there, and you had to clean all those ports out. And it wasn't hard to do once you knew how to do it, and you could clean the babies out, and that thing would run like brand new. I mean, it would run nice. You'd be amazed. And nowadays you can buy a freaking lawnmower, and this, you can't scratch your balls or it'll shut off. You know, it's like son of a bitch. And back then it was like, man, as long as they had that blade covered up just a little bit, you were good to go. Yeah, don't stick your hand in there, asshole. You know, they didn't have any of this safety crap. So Lawn Boy was badass. It was, you had a big, here's the Lawn Boy commercial back then. You had a big old tank on it, and it ran like a bat out of hell. Nowadays, oh, if you let go of anything, that motherfucker's gonna shut off. Motherfucker. That's the difference between now and then. And back then, if you chopped your foot off, you couldn't sue. It's your own stupid fault. Now it's like, well, you didn't have the safety device, and if I wouldn't scratch my balls, it wouldn't shut off. Oh, you stupid motherfucker! I'll sue you. That's the difference between then and now. Um, I grew up. I grew up mowing yards with these mowers that can whack your fingers and shit off. I'm all good. And I was a meat cutter. I used to use a chicken wheel to cut fucking chickens. And if anybody ever knew what a chicken wheel is, you know how fucking dangerous they are. But boy, can I cut some motherfucking chickens with that. And I remember I went back to work for Publix. Sorry about that. As a matter of fact, and we had they we usually would get at that point in time. This was years after I'd started. When we used to use the chicken wheel, and Sometimes I'd be in that chicken cooler for like 6 hours nonstop. I go to the bathroom every once in a while just so I can have a cigarette walking to the bathroom and back. And cold in there. But the one good thing, and people don't realize this, most meat markets, most, I wouldn't call it, I wouldn't say butchers, I'd say we're meat cutters. That's what I was a meat cutter. And I think in the industry, that's the way it is. You're a meat cutter. Unless you work at a slaughterhouse and you're a butcher, or, there's distinctions, I guess, on where you live and stuff. But so we were meat cutters. And, you get around, especially the places I work. You're lonely. You're sitting there. You're making 700 pounds of fucking different kinds of sausage. You got Polish sausage, Hungarian sausage, Czechoslovakian sausage, Italian sausage. This one place, I mean, it was just a sausage-a-thon. And we used to all get meat, and that's why there's a lot of things that I will go in and I'll go in and I'll look at it. I'll say, this is good, and I know what I'm talking about because I used to do it. And quality, and you know, whereas people are like, oh man, that's good stuff right there, man. And because I did that, and but you're stuck in, say, that chicken cooler. Nobody wants to go in that chicken cooler because it's cold. The chicken cooler is the coldest because you got to keep it cold for the bacteria levels. So you want that chicken like cold, and you got to go in there. You're in there for hours cutting, but you can't leave the door open because it'll get too warm. So the door's got to be shut. But and every once in a while, you got to go out and you got to turn it on to keep that temperature down. So you're in there, you're cutting. Sometimes that fan's blowing, and it's cold, 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 and you're just happily in there cutting. And I'm in there with that chicken wheel, and we had to cut. We had to cut so many chickens one time. And I said, man, if you get me a chicken wheel, I'll go in that chicken cooler all day and cut all the chickens you want. And the boss was like, you're the only person I know that said they would use a chicken wheel. I said, yes. I said, because they may be dangerous. I said, but I know how to pull my hands away from the blade. There ain't no way it's getting my butt. And it never did, but I was fast too. But and you cut one up so quick. I think 6 seconds or less, something like that. A whole chicken into the wings, the legs, the thighs, the back, the breast split in two. Boom. It'd be like this. It'd be, oh fuck, really think about it. Let me think. It'd be like you grab the wings, you grab the legs, you go bam, and you do that, and you got the legs over here. The wings go this way, bam, you throw them in that lug, and then you flip them around. You grab those legs, and you go, and you bend them back. And you go, bam. There's one. Bam. There's the other. And then you got both of them in your hands. You go, bam. Thighs over here, legs over here, and then you got the back. Yeah, you come around with the back. You go, bam. And you take the back off in there, and you split the breast. Yeah, 6 seconds, I think, for a whole chicken. I mean, on average, And so anyway, the chicken wheel, blah blah blah. But they thought it was crazy. But anyway, you're that's not even. I see. I keep getting sidetracked. Somebody need somebody to help me with my storylines and stuff. I'll be talking. I'll get sidelined. But anyway, we hadn't even gotten to the story of tonight yet. This is all leading up to it. Why I don't know. How in the hell did we get off on cutting chickens? But anyway, you'll find that. Say you stick a guy in a chicken cooler for 6 hours and he survives and he doesn't go home and you know make plans to go to Tibet and live alone on the top of a mountain or something, if he can, if he comes through it and he survives and everything, usually you'll find out. And they didn't allow a radio in there. Oh no, you're not taking a radio in there. No, 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 no. So you gotta listen to music, dun, dun, dun. And so you're in the chicken cooler where you can't hear the music in there. You're happy as hell. So you have no music. So what do? You sing. And so what notice that and I've noticed this too. I'll be when I've walked by the meat markets, and of course I used to know so many meat cutters and managers and everything, and some of them are still around, but the guys my age, we got old, old. Like I said, I keep forgetting I'm so old, but I mean really, but there used to be my old man used to love it. I say, Dad, I say, I'll buy the steaks if you'll buy the other stuff. And I get on the phone and I call up the meat market and I say, hey, I say, give me two long bone sirloins. You can't hardly get that crap anymore. I say, give me two long bone sirloins, an inch and a quarter thick, and a porterhouse. And my old man loved that. that I had that I could do that kind of stuff. And that was just because I knew guys from working and stuff, and they knew me. And it was fun though. And well, he had a and my one girlfriend, oh, you sit down, I'll take care of it. He fell in love with her. Everybody, I think everybody fell in love with her. And after we were done eating, she cleaned. Oh, you don't have to do that. She, oh, I got it. A big meal like that. And he doesn't have to lift a finger. Gosh, I miss that. But and I used to sit there and watch NASCAR and drink beer and do laundry. And that's how I used to watch NASCAR. I haven't seen that in a while. But but anyway, the meat cutters, sometimes you'll hear them singing, and especially if they're, if there's nobody around, they're alone in the meat room, or they're alone in the, back hall or the cooler. The meat cutters can generally sing pretty good because there's no heavy machinery to mess their ears up, and especially, the meat girls are always 100%. Um, shoot, I think I got hired one time because I used to kind of sing and this I talked to this lady. I asked her, I said, hey, you got any openings? And she said to go talk to her husband. That's how I got into meat cutting. It wasn't meat cutting to start. I was cleanup boy. They started teaching me how to cut chickens and they showed me how to use a knife. They said, "You left-handed or right-handed?" I said, "Well, I don't know." I said, "They said they taught me right-handed. I write left-handed. That's about the only thing I do left-handed. I think maybe I eat left-handed, but I'm not sure. I mean, I use my left hand for a spoon and stuff, but is that left-handed eating? I don't know. I know. I shoot everything else. Sports, everything is right-handed. Right is the only thing that I do exclusively left-handed. And I think there was one point in my life where I made a point of because I wasn't writing much because of work, And so when I would not on the job, but I would write right-handed. I would write with both hands so I could learn my right. I would learn my right hand so I could teach my right hand, to write, and then I quit doing it. And I didn't care. But when I'm using a speed square and a ruler, a tape. God damn, what a retard I am. But when I'm using a tape and a speed square and a carpenter's pencil, I use carpenter's pencils. I do not use regular pencils. I can get just a better line with a carpenter's pencil. I'm a carpenter, damn it. So now if I work in a cabinet shop, that's a different ballgame. But so I'm going for that, carpentry shit. But I'll flip my square around with my different hands, to make marks. But and I haven't framed in so long, like that. Yeah, I wouldn't know. It would just flow naturally, whatever. I kind of don't. There's no conscious. There's no conscious effort. There's the reach down and grab, and it's all fluid motion because you've done it so many times for so many years and so many hundreds of thousands of times. And but anyway, this fucking house. They It started in like I don't know. I don't consider any. I don't. The only reason I even call this a home is because of Beth. When she came here, um, I was uh, Stark Raven. I still am, but I'm a Stark Raven. I was crazy, and I was freaking out, all kinds of shit. I had just an inkling of you know what maybe was going on here and what was happening to me, and I didn't know anything. I didn't know who, what. I was freaking out. I was constantly asking people and asking myself, who in the fuck would be doing this and why, And is it the CIA? I thought, is it the FBI? Is it some top secret government? I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and then slowly I began to get a picture, and I began to put definite, definite, definite people. Um, Players that were in the thing that I had no idea, that really shocked me, that hurt my feelings, that totally freaked me out. I'm 58. I'm kind of old, but you know what? When I was a kid, we were saying things like "freak me out," So I mean, it was the '70s and shit. I was a little kid in the '60s, but we were saying like "oh man, don't freak me out," stuff like that, and like douchebag. We had a lot of New Yorkers down here, New Yorkers in New Jersey, and so that's where the term douchebag was coming from. It's all the New Yorkers and shit that I was hanging around. Hey, you fucking douchebag. yeah, the cultural influences, and so it took me a while to, and I didn't just like this didn't pop into my head. I didn't have dreams or hallucinations or fucking, my mind's solid. I know when I'm uh, uh, drunk or high, and I'm like, is that real or not? Yes, I do know the difference, and if I don't, I just sit there and go, "Ooh, let's see what happens." Like there have been times when I swear I looked down the road and it looked like Barnum Bailey Circus was coming down the road, in the middle of the night and shit. And I'm like, there's not really elephants and giraffes, but it sure looked like it, when I'm like, really, and then I'm kind of freaked out, but I know it's not real. I'm like, no, that's not real. There's no way that Barnum and Bailey would be coming down the road. And so I ride down, they're not there. And it was just, I used to always take my binoculars out at night because, for one, for the stars and the planets, I was into astronomy. nighttime rocket launches. There's places out there where I get a good view of the launch from Cape Kennedy, and it was 100 and I believe it's 175 miles away, something like that, straight line distance, over the curvature or whatever. And we do get a good with the equatorial launches because they'll launch and they'll go south and out over the Atlantic, and so we get that big arc, that goes out. And depending on which rockets it is, you get some pretty good sights, sometimes. And they always have film from Orlando, Daytona, the Cape itself. Even I think Miami or somewhere. Then they got these old not World War II. They got these old missile tracking stations from the beginning of the rocket launch era that are scattered across the Bahamas and the Lesser Antilles and stuff. That are probably, some of them are still in use, and some of them aren't. Where they're optical, they can optically watch this rocket. As it's way the hell up there. And they were doing it especially because they were having a lot of rockets blow up and stuff. So we want to watch it. Oh, we didn't know why it blew up, or we know when it blew up, or something. They got the visual picture of it. And so, and I actually met a guy. I'd say an old guy. I'm old now, but this was a while back. I met a guy that had worked in one of those places. I was very impressed. But the thing is, now my son's in the Air Force, and I was in the Army, and I joined the Army. Uh, where a girl asked me, she goes, "You volunteered for that?" I said, "Yeah." So I wanted to do that. I wanted to do this. She goes, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." How somebody's got to do it? What I mean, it's not like I volunteered for latrine duty, although I got put on it a few times. But that's a different story. But it's like my son. He joined the Air Force, and well, he got sent out on a not a mission. I got it was he got sent out to North Dakota to set up a radar site. He was doing radar, and I guess he did a pretty good job because they offered him a position in England, so he got sent over to England. Oh, happy days to be in jolly old England with all the English people, and and that's his field duty. Oh, jolly old. I'm sure he has to go set up radar sites sometimes. He's doing radar. He's working with the British Army, or the British Army. I'm sorry, the RAF, the Royal Air Force. And I trained with the British Army. But the, boy, let me. I've trained with the German Army, and I've trained with like where I lived on their base and for like a week and everything. And the Brits, they came and they trained with us for a week or two. I can't remember. It was during a very rough period of our time, over there. Everybody, not just me. I think everybody. We were all having it rough, top to bottom. I don't know about the Colonel. I don't know, Colonel. Okay, so I don't know about the Colonel. What I mean, but I know the rest of us were giving our best, and it was hard. But the Brits trained with us, and the Brits were really impressed with our breakfast. 'Cause we had good breakfast. Let me tell you, them damn Germans. You know what they ate? They ate like continental breakfast. You know what a continental breakfast is? That's where you walk downstairs and there's a bunch of muffins and buns on a table and some butter, and there might be some crappy cereal, and there's not enough sugar, and they're drinking tea instead of coffee. It's like, what the fuck is this shit, man? You know, you go into American breakfast, and they're gonna shit on a shingle. They're gonna, you can have an omelet made. I think the first omelet I ever had was in the army. I swear to God, no, it couldn't have been it. I swear to God, no, it had to have been before then. But I remember I was amazed. You can get an omelet. They make it. It took a little longer. If you want an omelet, you had to wait a few minutes. Your buddies are going in there chowing down their scrambled eggs and shit on the shingle and all that crap, and you're waiting for an omelet. Well, they're done. They're gonna go down the motor pool. And they're gonna beach down there, and they're gonna get all the I don't know. Well, anyway, so that was the whole thing about omelets. You kind of everybody else hauled ass on you, and which doesn't sound like much, but let me tell you when I and I think this happens a lot. I think this happens to everybody. I don't care where you are. I went to Germany, but that was Germany or Korea, and I didn't want nobody. They wanted all our butts, all us scout asses in Germany. I guess there was a lot of guys getting out and they weren't coming back. They were having a hard time finding scouts, and I didn't find this out until recently. Somebody said that the being a scout was the worst job in the military, and I never thought of it that way. I just thought we were just kind of badasses and everybody else was a bunch of pussies. But that's but we sure did get treated like shit. I mean, we really did. We got treated like dog shit. As soon as you heard cab, it was like, oh fuck, man. The other units would be like, oh goddamn cab. It was, I guess, officers, everybody. You were cavalry, and you were expected to be cavalry, and so we weren't well received by a lot of people, and we didn't care. I remember we went to the field. We went to Grafenbeer, and this first time to Grafenbeer. Went to Wild Flicking one time, Buell Flicking, Wild Flicking, baby. And I remember I was standing outside the track. It's nighttime, and this little short cut. He wasn't short. He was a black dude, but now he was he'd been there a while, and he goes, yeah, man. You gotta watch out for the you gotta watch out for the hogs. And I'm like, what? He goes hogs, and he's in the driver's hatch of the armored personnel carrier, and I'm standing outside by the tracks. And to get in the armored personnel carrier, you either gotta climb up the front, which is not too bad because you're a scout, you're supposed to do that kind of stuff. Or you got to go in the back, open the hatch, open it up, get in and shut the door. And that's kind of a pain in the butt to do. So, it's like, well, where's these hogs at? And he goes, man, if you go up and you see them when they're when against the sky, sometimes you see, he goes, they're big. And I'm like, really? And I don't think I saw one at that wild looking, but ooh, I had some experience with them big old German wild boars. And some of them were so incredibly huge. I mean, big as are bigger than American hogs. I mean, these guys were um, big, big, big. So here we're going to we went to Waffle. We're firing the 50 cal. Just, pop, pop, pop off the top of the track. It was kind of fun. The damn thing will shake you. And you kind of get in the rhythm with it. You just got to loosen up your body, and you go bop, 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 and your whole body will shake bop, 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 and you see those things hitting a mile away and a mile and a half, and then you just move the gun a little bit, and well, a young guy like me, we didn't shot a whole lot of 50 cal, and so it takes a while to get to where you're knowing exactly what you're doing. You're not using the flip up sight, you're just kind of getting everything. You go pop, pop, pop. You fire 3 rounds or something. You see where they hit. Then you go, okay, a little bit that way. But my favorite was, of course, the M60 machine gun. Now the M60, to me, I always describe it like how when you get the hose and you put your thumb over it and you're that's kind of what the M60 was to me, except prettier. And I could really lay that in there. I go da, da. I can lick the target, kind of like you see the throws go da, and lick the target. You lick it once or twice. You can go back and forth. You can go, you go da. Well, you got your hand up here. You go da, and it goes down, and they're coming out a lot faster too. So you're getting 5 or 6 rounds off da. And so you're seeing a couple of traces, and you're seeing all this dust kick up, and you're like, yeah, I'm right on target. And then you can, I got to where I could a couple of quick bursts, and then I could smoke the target. God forbid I had a 50-round belt, which I usually did. I could burn a barrel, and I used to get in trouble for that shit. Don't burn the goddamn barrel. I'd pull that trigger down once I had that target on. And I smoked the son of a bitch, man. If there was grass, the grass would catch on fire from the tracers. Don't burn any more goddamn barrels. So we go to Grafenbeer, and this is about the cab. It's like yeah, you see, you come in and there's like a huge training area, people from all over Germany. And one thing we learned after, real quick, is you look for other cavalries. Everything's marked on the front of your vehicles. So you didn't look for the infantry, you didn't look for the artillery because you knew who they were. But what you looked for other cav, and we had first to the fourth over there. Was the first to the fourth over there? I think it was. I think it was called the quarter cav. The first to the second would be called the half cav, and stuff like that. We were the 12th cav, and there was a seventh cav was over there. That was General Custer's cavalry. They got slaughtered at the Little Bighorn, and they still do the Gary Owen. You know what Gary Owen is? Whenever you see a Custer movie or like Little Big Man or something, you know, and Custer, I guess, was kind of a foppish kind of guy, but you know what? He was a calf soldier too, and I'm serious, and their spirit survives today. Whenever you see anything about the Seventh Cav, like with uh, George Armstrong Custer, they're whistling some song, and and it's called the song is called Gary Owen. Um, and so when they salute their officers, Gary Owen, sir, I think that's what they do. The Seventh Cav does that, and there is officers. There are a whole bunch of people. General Abrams, who the tank is named after, his son was for a brief period of time before I came home, was my platoon leader, and he was very professional. He took his job very seriously, and he was very very good. He chewed my ass one time. Oh God, did he chew my fucking ass? Like right here, and I was like, oh my God, and I never wanted to embarrass that man again, and I didn't. Wish I could have served with him longer. Well, he chewed my ass, and there was nothing you do. This guy could kill me. I mean, seriously, and it just, I just went and tried to do better. You didn't want to disappoint a man like that. Um, and he would have let me hang out with him and stuff, and I got sent to the rifle team. I was shooting a competition back then, and he wasn't happy with it, but he couldn't do much about it because he got beaten by somebody bigger. Um, but oh God, I could have served with that man for a lot longer. I wasn't with him that long. But I mean, I got to know him real well. He would come in and he knew all of us enlisted guys, and this was unusual, by our first name. How in the hell do you know every enlisted man's first name? You say hello, Michael. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Randy, and you're like, oh my fucking God, you know. And this guy was good, and his wife was something like he went to West Point, of course, and you know, uh, but the tradition of the cavalry. A lot of people. There's some people that are the tradition of the airborne infantry, or even the leg infantry. There's I knew there were three brothers. There were two brothers in my platoon. They were from Missouri, and they were Cav Scouts, and there was they had a third brother in another cavalry. So there's three brothers that were cavalry and enlisted, and there was a lot of enlisted whose dads were cavalry. And it was amazing the traditions. And it wasn't just there was artillery. The artillery, everybody. Every I guess even in peace and everything. Everybody's got their family. Hey, they hear about the airborne, they're going airborne, but they took Cav seriously. So we get out to Grafenbeer when I first get over there, and It's our first major, what would you call it, movement or whatever for me. I think I got in my unit on Christmas Eve, went through hell, froze my butt off. Here it was. I forget what month it was. I think we are going to Graf. It was like we had like three or four major ones where we went for a month. We went to Graf and we lived in Tent City for a month, and it was a big gunnery, I think, for the tankers, and for the scouts it was a big humping ammo for the goddamn tankers. That's what that's what being a scout was. Hating the tankers because you had to hump their goddamn ammo. You know why you had to hump their ammo? Because them tanks hold a lot of fucking ammo. When they get to a gunnery, they got to get a lot of ammo in those fucking tanks. They got honeycomb fucking walls all around them where they pull them. We didn't have the Abrams tanks. We had the old M60A3s, which I loaded one time, which was fun. But I stood up to the scouts too. Somebody said we need more scouts to hump ammo, and I said, "Fuck you, motherfuckers!" And I cussed them out from the other tank that I was on, and they didn't give me a shit, because they knew it was coming from somebody that had humped his share of ammo. But we did because the scouts. Okay, what do you got? You go out, you fire your machine, you do your machine gun assault course, which I always loved. You do your you do a lot of like map. They want scouts to be good with maps, and we're real good with maps. And when you're in the platoon, a lot of times, for endless, you get sent to the motor pool. Motor pool, okay, we're going to go out here and we're going to fucking navigate. And you're walking around, you're like, oh, this sucks, and they got all kinds of shit for you to do with compasses and pace counts, which we got real good with. I mean, we got real good. You know, I we didn't have GPS back then. All you had was your feet, your eyes. You could read a map. And we had competitions, which I did. And but the more you did it, the better, the more proficient you got, and you had ways of doing things like with a squad. Like when I was on the cavalry team, we had a squad, 10 men, two 5-man teams, and generally you worked as a squad. And so when you're out on a nighttime um, prov, field prov, like we used to go out on Thursday nights, and we'd go out about 8 o'clock, get dumped off with a deuce and a half, and it was competition just like we were going to have in the calf competition, and we had good support. This is the first year I did it. Oh my God, we were so we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know how it was going to be ran. We were guessing. We fucked off a lot. Not because of we were fucking off, but because we didn't know exactly what was going on, and nobody. I don't think our cavalry had ever been in it before, so this was the first time our cav was in it. Because we were a little bitty divisional cav. You got guys like the third ACR Armored Cavalry Regiment. They're regimental cav. They have helicopter support, artillery support. They got whatever they want because the general says so. God damn it! And you got a whole regiment there. You got a whole bunch of people, big base, big bunch of people, prestige, Black Horse. So you got the third, you got the 11th ACR. You got there were two ACRs over there. There was 11th ACR. And, gosh, I'm embarrassed if I don't remember. The other um, regiments. But so anyway, so we're doing the stuff to where you get a section of a map. The maps are big. They're standard 125, whatever. And you navigate. You can say, okay, you got stuff to look at. Like, say you got to navigate from here to here, and there's contour lines and stuff. You get used to seeing that stuff. In your mind and everything. You can picture all that shit. And so you watch out where the contour lines come close together because that means a cliff. So we real careful about what there's the contour lines that close. You better be careful there, so you don't run over a cliff. And we go out, at night and on Thursday night, and usually we get done around midnight, 2 in the morning, and it was something like 12 miles, 18 clicks, something like that. It's snow and mud and cross country stuff, and you might get little piece of map this big, one little square, and it's got a couple. And you're over here, and you got to go over there, and you got or they'll show you which way north is, and you're like, what? Everybody looks at the map, but there's like two guys that are the ones that are doing it, who are the ones that say we're going this way and we're going to do this. And we need pace count and this and that, And you had pace counters. You had your three best pace guys, or even four. Sometimes you'd have a fourth guy. Sometimes you'd have a guy that he wouldn't be assigned to it, but he have it too. And the way you count paces, you get a shoestring you tie to your LBE to the hook right here where you would hang your medical bag or whatever, And so you have your shoelaces tied here, and every time you went 100 meters, you tie a knot. So you get a click, and as you got close, and the LT and the sergeant, excuse me, will be checking, say, hey, what's your pace count, and everybody, and and you got real good with those pace counts. I mean, you got real good because you did it so much, and so you pace count, and all of a sudden you find out that the three guys are hitting pretty close, and you would come real close to your target, like where the squad could fan out and find its target. And usually it was the top of a can from the chow hall that they paint with dull red, and they have it hanging up in a tree. And when you got near it, that was your target, or it might be posted on a fence or something, And we got real good about that, and, real good, real good. And so sometimes they get an aerial photo from a helicopter, and they would say this was taken right where you are, but at 100 feet up, and you can see the countryside, and it's nighttime, and you're looking at this and you're going, oh my God, but you can see a couple of the buildings over there got a few lights on. It's like, okay, not real lit up, not like a city or anything, but you could, and we got real good at navigating with all kinds of. Sometimes you would be given a direction and a pace count. Okay, it's 3,000 meters that way, and an azimuth, and you got the guy with the compass there, and so you had to do all this stuff. And what we do is, I think they give us a C-rat to take with us, the old C-rats with the box and the cans, the John Wayne bars, because it had to be tougher than John Wayne to eat one of them son of a guns. I mean, they were hard, even for an army guy's perfect young teeth. They were hard, much like eating German Brochen, hard. You had to wrestle them things, but usually you took them and you used them to hit somebody. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, so we did a lot of land navigation. But what the hell? How did I get the fuck? How long have I been on here? Am I still rambling like a dumbass? That's why I need Beth. I need writers. I need set designers. I need how do you call it, background music. All kinds of stuff. I just don't have. Maybe we can take a break. Can we take a break right now? See, I can't put any background music because I did that one time and I had copyright infringement or something. Now they do have a library, but I've never gone there. They said where stuff would be not used as like background. Maybe I should check that. I've been on an hour. I have been talking non freaking stop for this long. Fuck. Um. Well, here I might as well. Let me see what I can show you. No, I don't want to. I'm still rambling on. Let me finish the Graf story real quick. Graf, Graf and beer. Well, anyway, Graf and beer. From what I understand about, I'm pretty sure it's Graf out. But a lot of these places that the U.S. Army, because a lot of people, or we didn't know. I didn't know when I went to Germany, basically shit, about Germany. World War II. How we cared. You know what I mean? But I mean, I didn't know. How the people, I didn't know a lot of things. And we were stationed in middle Germany, like above Frankfurt. We weren't in northern Germany. We weren't in Bavaria. We were, well, anyway, so I didn't know anything. And, you get over there, it's culture shock. And you're there for, I was there for 22 months or something, or 20 months, something, a long time, almost 2 years. And you get over there and you're young, and especially a lot of these guys are right out of high school, and I had gone to college for a year, and so I was like 1 year older, whoopee doo. But I mean, here you get in Germany, and you're not coming back from Germany. You're not going to take leave like 6 months from now, fly back and be a big hero, and you know you don't have that kind of money for one thing, and you don't get that kind of leave for another. So you get leave over in Germany. You might take a couple of weeks to go somewhere. I don't know. My mom and my sister came over and we drove down to Switzerland. I got to go to Switzerland. That's kind of cool. Switzerland was boring. We went there in the summertime, and it's like rich people. They're all rich, and rich people are boring. The beer wasn't that great. And who's this? I don't know who that is. I don't know what it means. How do I do this? Okay, let me see what I'm doing here. Learn more. It says. Let me learn more. I guess I'm gonna try to do this. I don't know how to answer this. It says learn more. What do I do? Learn project. Okay. Well, I'm gonna live chat. How do I talk to somebody? I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, there's anybody out there? I can't hear anybody. Maybe they can't hear me. Maybe my volume's not turned up or something. I don't know. Oh, Brazil. Oh, Brasilia. Do I answer it? I don't know how to answer it. Say something that says. I'm trying to say something. Um, Google. What? I'm sorry. Brazil, Brazil. I don't. The only now I spoke a little German over there, but pretty much um, I can't remember whole. I mean, I couldn't speak fluently. I could speak, and I would try. I really would. Especially where I lived and stuff because the people were nice. For the most part, the people were nice. And we were soldiers, and they really we weren't on some big base. We were in the middle of nowhere. I don't. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't speak. I don't speak Portuguese. What do you? I mean, I knew a girl that was Portuguese. She was very beautiful, but I don't know how to get a hold of her. Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know how to get a hold of this girl, man. I really wanted to meet her too and hang out with her. I only met her a couple of times, and well, I don't speak Portuguese. I don't speak anything but English, and I don't even speak that real good. Um, I wish I could speak Portuguese. I wish I could speak Spanish. You know what I really want? I'd really like to speak French, and I used to not want to, but there's a reason for it. All right, I'm not gonna get into that. So anyway, I, so hey, this is just my. I don't know how I got sidetracked on the army crap, but the house is the real story. But anyway, the horror house and my horror life. But so we go. I don't know how I got sidetracked to the freaking army. And I got to have some how would you say direction. I should have somebody holding flashcards up for me. Get back to the story, dummy. And my technical assistant hauled butt on me again. Jesus, man, the worst nights. The worst nights. I mean, she's left me here basically, and it's embarrassing, because I'm a grown man. I've never um, until well anyway, where I was begging her, please, please, I need you. She knows some of the stuff I'm going through, and she's seen some of the stuff, and there's not, when I say some things, yeah, she'll tell whatever, but she knows I'm not entirely crazy. Some people think I'm entirely crazy. Some people think I'm bullshit, and then some people know the truth, but they won't let on that they know the truth because they're part of the, I won't say conspiracy. I don't know what to call it. I really don't. I don't know what to call it. I've never experienced crap like this in my freaking life. And I was in, places in medieval Germany where we would, we were scouts. We were supposed to do things. We could climb, we could run, we could jump, we could swim. Where we would climb, you'd have to go and now the moat was dry, so it wasn't like that. So you'd have to go across the moat. Had grass in it. You go across the moat, you'd climb up a turret about 20 feet, and there's a small window, just small enough where you could edge your way through it. Now the turrets are thick, because they got to withstand those, attacks from the big boulders throwing things, And we crawled through there and be in the castle, which was unoccupied. The part that was still basically the way it was when the 1500s. These guys, these Germans were every bit as badass as any Englishman or Scotsman or anything. These Germans might have even been more, but these guys were crazy. These Germans were freaking badass. And so, you're in a turret and it's like, whoa. And it's like rings and there's like, I don't know how many they go up. And it was, I guess, the old jail, whatever you call it. And they have these little tiny cells. It's open in the middle. Spiral staircase going up. It was really kind of spooky, if you were, I don't know how many, you could have kept quite a few people in there. And, oh man, I just couldn't imagine. But anyway, so anyway, so we go to Grafenbeer. We're there for 30 days, 30 days in the field. We're living in freaking tent city. There's a tank range like real close. You hear a boom, boom. They're firing 24 hours a day. They got all these tanks. Germany had a lot of tanks, a lot of American armor. To I don't think we won the Cold War so much as I think we scared the hell out of them. I think they said no. Look at their tank. We we had every time you go somewhere like Graf, they had some little yard where they had the Red Army stuff like you would see a German T-62 or T-54, 55, or a ZSU 23-4. The anti-aircraft guns and stuff. And you could actually go and sit on these things. You could look at these tanks, and their tanks were like little compared to ours, little bitty tanks. And I think the Russians between the crazy cavalry screaming and yelling, and holding up spears and axes and stuff, and doing crazy stuff, and all the tanks. I think the commies were like, man, they got some badass stuff, and especially when we started pulling them Abrams over there. Our unit never got Abrams when I was there. They gave everybody, I think, from what I heard some, from some friends, is after I got home, we were one of the last units to get Abrams tanks. So, but boy, those Abrams now the 60A3s. Let me tell you something about them. Those things were impressive, and I can remember as a little kid building one because I loved building tanks. World War II especially. The Germans had the best tanks in World War II. All right, yeah, the Germans had the best ones. Got to admit, you know. So I always liked to build them German tanks. They were always cool because they had them round turrets and stuff. They had the fancy guns. They had all you get little tweezers. I got real good at this stuff. And yeah, the Germans had the best tanks. But boy, that old M60A3 though, with that electric turret up top, with the 50 caliber, the electric fired 50 caliber, that was pretty cool looking too. And well, the tankers used to like to. We didn't. We had a. You had in the cab. I was in the armored cab. We had scout. We had a scouts. Team, we had a scout section. I'm sorry, which is two squads, and we had a tank section, which is also two squads. And I forget how many tanks and tracks. I can think about it. I don't care. But anyway, so we're going. We're going to Grafenbeer, and it's like 30 days. You're going to live in a tent, a GP medium. You got all your cots are already there for you. They're already set up. You got to come in. You get your sleeping bag. You put on there. Boom. You got your duffel bag. And you get inspected every day. So this place better be clean. I mean, seriously. And it's not like you're just going to live like slobs. You still got your laundry bag, for stuff. You can go do laundry, and you're there for 30 days. And so it's like, wow, man. And it's a huge place. I mean, there's thousands of guys going there, from all over. Artillery's there. Everybody's there. They've all got to go to the field. But so we're there for 30 days, and it's actually, those GP mediums. Usually, you're pretty comfortable, and you do have to worry sometimes about theft. I guess that would go back to Roman times or before. You don't have to worry about. But so you tried to you and your buddies, 'cause you do have some, you make friends, you tend to make friends and everything. But you can't help it, unless you're. I can't think of I can't think of anybody that didn't have friends. Some of the sergeants sometimes you might think they did, but some of them were off in their own world, and like the one guy had a computer. It's like, whoa, he's got a computer. This is 1980, 82. Guy's got a computer, man. What's he do with that computer? We didn't know it. What are you gonna do with a computer? We didn't know. It's not like we had the back then there was no internet or anything. So who knew what he did? I mean, maybe he drew stuff or wrote stuff. I don't freaking know, but he had a computer, and but he made friends, and sometimes some guys wanted to go to Frankfurt, to buy hash. I mean, to go to Frankfurt, and then some guys wanted to go to bars. Me, to listen to rock and roll. Me, and then some guys, Germany being Germany back then, they had discos. Some guys wanted to go to the discos to pick up the little disco bunny girls. Not me. Or little high school girls are. You marry me, you have cigarette for me. They wanted them American cigarettes because our cigarettes were good, and that's why we had rations. So anyway, God damn it, get to the point. We get to the fucking graph, and they're like, don't even think about going out to the enlisted men's club. It looks good. It's all big and everything. There's a lot of people there, but don't even bother going there because you'll just be just fine. The cavalry will be banned within a day. And some bitch, we didn't get banned the first day. And I'm like, hey, we didn't get banned. Because everybody was saying we were going to be banned. Sergeant, yeah, don't even worry about it. We're all going to be banned. Second day, cavalry is banned from all enlisted and non-commissioned officer facilities. So you're stuck, It's like, what did you fucking do? We could go to the PX and you could buy some beer and you could go back and drink it. I mean, you were allowed to do that, but I mean, you couldn't get shit faced drunk or And some of the guys, me, what like to smoke hash. We didn't have marijuana. There was just hash. Sometimes, sometimes. Oh, I think I smoked it once or twice, maybe three or four, but I tried not to inhale, but sometimes you couldn't help it. And so you grab some beer and might walk over to watch the tanks fire. And now, I think there. I think the first time I went to Graph, I don't know if we had any of the Abrams over there or not, but boy, the Abrams are so different from the M68-3s because the M68-3s had the big old Detroit diesels and a brum 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 brum, and you sit there. And in the evening was the best time because during the day they had a red flag and a green flag. Well, a green flag meant that the range was clear. There was no load. There was nothing in the tank that was, the guns weren't loaded or anything. But you see that red flag, they stick a red flag on top, and it was ready to fire. Well, at night they had lights. They have a green light, and a red light. Have that green light on. You're sitting there, and they had these stands for like congressmen and all this kind of shit. These congressmen, the Vice President Bush, Ronald Reagan was president, and Vice President Bush one time flew over one of our ranges, or he flew over the ranges in a helicopter, and they had to shut all the ranges down. We were all pissed off. Why the fuck should we, goddamn Vice President, and messing up my range time, and because we only had a certain amount of time, they were running these people through the ranges. You got to get out there and shoot your weapons and get the fuck out of here. It's the next guy's coming in. So anyway, you see that red light come on, and all of a sudden you're drinking a beer, and we would drink Budweiser in the field. If you were at an American facility, even on post, we would drink Budweiser. But a lot of times you get that German beer cheaper. And it would get you more fucked up. Especially I've never drank it since I left Germany. Leisure beer, and oh my god, that was the whole time I was there. Leisure beer, and ever since I've been back, I got back in 1983, and I've never ever drank Leisure beer since 1983, and God, it's been a while. That was such good beer. I mean, nothing compared. I mean, nothing compared to Australian beer, other German beer, Lowenbrau. Lowenbrau in Germany was kind of like I don't know what I'd call it. It was reefer. I'd say it was mid grade. At Leisure was there were certain beer, and like see that was the region we were in where Leisure was made. It's like kind of like if you're around Milwaukee, you get Pabst Blue Ribbon's great. You're getting it fresh. It comes out, it's real good. By the time it's shipped down here and gone through 10 temperature changes, it's not so good. Where that's why like I think Coors or somebody ships refrigerated so it kind of maintains its quality and stuff. Well, anyway, Leisure beer, being in Germany, it was the same kind of thing. It was the regional beer, and they sold a lot of it, and we loved it. Oh, yes, we did. And, you would travel to a different part of Germany, and they would have a different. You weren't able to get leash. You had to buy something else, and sometimes it's like cigarettes. You change brands of cigarettes. It doesn't taste the same. It doesn't taste good. I smoked Marlboros all my life, and I wouldn't want to smoke anything else. A Winston didn't taste good. A 305, oh no, I'll wait till we get to the store. Oh, you're gonna be snooty? Yeah, I'm gonna be snooty. Well, of course, that was before the economic collapse when now you would roll the notebook paper. So anyway, so here we are, the second day. It's like, wow, maybe we'll go to the NCO club. Man, that would be fun. And there's no girls there, or if there is, just one or two. And they're surrounded by 1,000 guys. And because we're all combat troops, and back then there was no women. You didn't see women on my post. There was a helicopter. There was a helicopter maintenance unit that had one or two girls, and they were always escorted by. They were always never. They were never alone. I guess we were considered animals or something, and it was very rare to talk to an American female soldier, civilian, anything. It was very rare. And so, the few women that I met over there that were American, I was really, really impressed and really taken with them. Like, oh my God, this is so nice. And that's why coming home was so good. I was like, wow, hell, what have I been missing? Um, you're over there for 2 years, and these people, you're there, and some of them don't give a fuck about you. Some of them are like hating the fact that you're there. Some of them just get tired of you. They're GIs. But we weren't on a big post. We were out in the fucking boonies anyway, and we were soldiers. And so most people treated us pretty good. They knew we were rowdy. They knew that if the war broke out, we were gonna die. I mean, it was obvious. Yeah, the Russians would have stepped on us like a bug, probably. And so, we had a good rapport pretty much with the population, and so here we are in Graph, and some of us are kind of psyched up. Some of us. I was fatal. I was. I guess when I first got over there, I was kind of like, you could tell I was green. I was, but I was, and some of the guys like, yeah, look what we got here, fresh meat, motherfuckers, and stuff like that. And you're like, wow, man. After a couple months, you got kind of the same way. You got kind of indoctrinated into the bad attitudes. One thing was like, if you were a driver, if you drove an armored personnel carrier, you got the sticks and you got an accelerator. You hit that accelerator all the way down, you go, wah, makes a lot of noise, and that track goes. Oh hell, they suck. But I took one airborne one time. We were coming down a hill, and I knew this hill, man. Lieutenant's up. I was driving for a lieutenant, and lieutenant's up there. We got the 50 caliber and turret and shit, and I'm coming down this hill. And I told my buddy, I said, we came down this hill yesterday. I said, man, this thing I can keep it full bore going at this pace, and I knew it was a long ass hill. I get this thing up about 35 miles an hour. That's like, I mean, they're scary. And the thing about these armored personnel carriers is if they flipped and they were going fast, usually the person that got killed was the person in the turret up top because that 50 caliber would keep you from jumping down in the hatch as you're flipping over, plus the rotational uh, force and everything. The driver could sometimes, sometimes I guess it would not kill the driver, and but usually the guy in the turret was the one that got killed. And you had guys in the back too with the open hatch, so who knows. But I told my buddy, I said I'm going to go flat out, so I knew what was going to happen. I said we're going to go flat out down this hill. I'm going to be hauling ass, man, top speed. And the LT wasn't saying nothing either because he was kind of he was a little bit green too. He was a butter bar. He was all right. He was all right. He'd make fun of me though because he was from Georgia and whatever. Georgia people always think they're compared to other Southerners. And so anyway, I'm serious about it. I'm serious about it. And especially, no, I'm not going to tell you where I was born. Because even the Yankees would go, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Now you can guess if you can guess which goddamn state it is. Where am I? Oh, fucking. Um, where am I from? I live in Florida. I've lived here. I've lived in this town almost 50 years. I was a kid when we moved here, but I was born in Alabama. My sister was born in Savannah, Georgia, and my little brother and my dad were born in South Carolina, and my mom was born in Mississippi. So we're Southern. I mean, you won't see me waving the rebel flag and shit. But be proud of wherever you're from. I'm proud that I'm Southern, but I'm proud of the things I've done in my life, the things that I've accomplished. I say on my own. There's always help. But I set out some goals. I went to college to be a aeronautical engineer, and I dropped out because of money, and I joined the army. And I never went back because I couldn't afford it. And the VA kind of fucked me over. I will say that they really fucked me over. I should be retired right now as a something. But so I got out. My sister lived up by New York City, and she was like, she was making a lot of money and shit. And she goes, "Why don't you move up here and go to school? There's a good aircraft mechanics school." And well, aircraft mechanics school is very intensive. It's not like going to a you know, aircraft mechanics school is different than most schools, and it's more intensive, I would say, than most pilot training. And so I went to go to aircraft mechanics schools up by New York City and had a blast. It was MTV, man. 1984. Chicks were crazy, man. It was MTV, man. Rock and roll. Chicks had big hair, like leather jackets. They were badass. It was way cool, man. I had a good time up north, and me being from the south and all, and I really did. I had a good time, and I made money whenever I worked. I was treated with respect, and it's amazing. And there was just so many opportunities up in New Jersey. The area where I lived in, right outside me. I could look and see the Twin Towers and the Empire State Building. Yeah, I saw the Statue of Liberty. It had scaffolding around it when I first drove past it. It has scaffolding around because they were rebuilding it for the centennial of France giving it to us. And so it was all in scaffolding. And then when I was actually working at Teterboro Airport. Boy, that was one of the best places in the world, man. Um, um, and there was a bar I hung out in Wallington, in Wallington, New Jersey, and I at Fourth of July they had the scaffolding down. They were celebrating the centennial of 1986, and they had the scaffolding down, and I walked up to this overpass bridge like a half mile away. I took my to-go drink with me, and nobody went with me. I was watching on the TV, and I knew you could see the Statue of Liberty from this bridge, and I just walked down there, and I stood on this bridge, and they were firing the fireworks over the Statue of Liberty, and it was so cool. There being growing up here in Florida, there's you hear about the revolution, you read about it, and it's it's distant, it's like what happened here in Southwest Florida. Well, there was actually Spanish fishermen up until whenever, and there was some I guess some pretty hostile Indians for a while for whatever, and then it's kind of like and then in the 1800s, some people moved down here and started raising cattle, and so there was no there's no real deep history, well, there is, but you got to dig deeper, and I didn't know that, when you're young and in school. Sometimes, because a lot of these people aren't from the area, they have no sense of connectivity to the area. Like I kind of do because I've lived here so long, and I've seen so much change, and so much, and I know where to go to look for fossils, and we don't have rocks like they do up north. We have limestone. So you look for fossils. You look for like we have horse teeth that I love to find, and there's areas that the geology will be. You're going to find. Or you might find horse teeth or raccoon teeth or alligator teeth, which look kind of like a 45 caliber round, sort of alligator. And these are fossils. The horses are from the Eocene era, which is the first hippo. The first they're called hippo, whatever. The first horses that used to live here in the Americas, they died out, and the second horses came in with the Spanish and the Portuguese to South America, and the English and the French. So those guys are what reintroduced the horse to America. But 100,000 years ago or whatever, the wild horses lived here, and they died out. How? Who knows? Probably people moved in and killed them. Probably said, horse meat, yummy. But you know how humans are, man. We're gonna eat some, and so you find these horse teeth, and the horse teeth will be like this long because they grow up, I guess. Web and the raccoon teeth, you can find raccoon teeth, and they're all black. That's how you know they're ancient. They're fossils. That's what they call fossils. They're fossils, and they're black. And the raccoon teeth you'll find are just long. You're like, damn, they must have been some big old raccoons. But no, even modern raccoons, they grow way back up in here, because they grow and they chew them down. Um, Shark's teeth, of course. I found shark's teeth in some places where you wouldn't expect it, but I've, anywhere there's any shell or clay shell, and it's hard to find clay here. You got to dig kind of deep. You'll hit a layer of clay, and that's usually where if there's shark's teeth in the fossils, they'll stop at that clay, and that's a good place to look is that layer if they're digging something, and and if you can get access, they don't usually allow people to do that. Um, Normal people, yeah, no, I'm normal my ass. But anyway, um, what else do we look for? Um, there's places where you can find human artifacts, but you're not supposed to mess with them, and it's illegal to sell them, here in Florida. But I've had friends that were actually into that, and few and far between. A lot of this stuff I didn't research until like the economic collapse in '08 and everything, I'm not working and I'm in town and I'm looking for work and I can't find shit. And I stop by the library and it's like I get a book about Florida shells or Florida fossils. That's how I found out a lot of stuff. And then you talk to people and somebody else. There was this young girl that I had no idea she wanted to store a storage thing in my garage. And I said, sure. I said, I've got room. You can put it in there. I said, I'll never mess with it. Nobody will mess with it. And she did, because I guess she had moved and stuff. She wanted this stuff for safekeeping. Well, it was very heavy, and I'm like, "What the fuck's in there? Rocks and shit?" I didn't know. So we got in the garage, and I'm gonna leave it sitting outside where it get rained on. And it was like I forget how much later. And she came over, and she would come over every once in a while, and she'd play in her little box, which I'm not making fun of her at all. And she, um, I could talk to her about astronomy and rockets because she grew up over on the other coast and grew up watching that stuff. And so I could talk to her about that, and she was interested. I was interested. And it was nice to have somebody to talk to because most people were like, "Whatever, man," you know what I mean. And then she was, I think it was when she was cleaning my garage, and she I had a whole bunch of stuff. Just I don't even know if I still got them out. Crap. They were fossils I collected over a period of time. And I had a friend that showed me how to like get glue and mount them on a picture frame to display them and stuff. It's really cool. He had a whole bunch of them, and he was teaching me about that stuff before he copped an attitude, grouchy old man or whatever. But so I was talking to this girl about the fossils and artifacts and this and that, and she goes, I said, you can have any of those if you want. She goes, come here and check this out in her box. All the rocks and crap she had all that kind of stuff, and it really freaking amazed me. And she was young too, and when I first met her, um, her I guess her boyfriend at the time, yeah, I guess it was her boyfriend at the time. She would come over on a rice rocket, uh, and it would be wintertime and it would be cold. She had bleach blonde hair, just gorgeous, very very gorgeous. And I had one of my friends. We had a step out back, and I poured concrete, but then it stepped down even further into dirt, and you'd be tracking dirt in all the time. And so I had a friend of mine prep it, and I had him do the whole job. I told him exactly what I wanted. He did a perfect job. He knew what I wanted. He did what I wanted. And it was perfect. It was 6 inches of shell. I didn't want at least six. It was 6 inches. That way you get no grass growing on none of this 2 inch crap. Go deep, always go way deep. And he did it perfect. He did it start to finish, and it came out beautiful, and it's still there. But she would come over and it's cold out, and uh, she wanted to sit on my back porch concrete thing and pick through for shells, and I'm like, is she all right? Not knowing maybe she was upset or anything, the first time or two. Oh no, she's fine. I'm like, all right. And she would collect the tiniest little bitty shells. Like she'd have a conch shell, it's big. She'd have a little bitty one. Every shell you can find this big. She had small ones, and people would call her crazy. Oh, she's nutty. She's sitting out there doing that stuff. And I wrote something about her one time that says, I keep that back porch cleaned off because number one, I like it clean. Number two, because if Hope comes over, oh, that was her name, to get her tiny shells, which everybody thinks is crazy, but which in reality is way cool. I said she's got a clean place to sit, and she liked that, and so I hadn't even seen her in a long time. I hadn't seen hardly anybody in a while. Um, but anyway, I happen to be born in Alabama. I have my grandpa was a preacher up there. My mom's dad, and I used to go to Alabama when I was a kid, and I hadn't even left the state of Florida in over 30 years. 1980, um, 1988, I think I went to New Jersey because my wife, my first wife, she went up there, and I probably could have left her up there. She'd have stayed, but I said, well, I want to come up, and I basically went up and we hung out for a couple of days and drove back home again. Home, but that was 1988, 87 maybe. No, it was 88. I'm pretty sure. So it's been a while. I haven't been to Georgia, or, Southwest Florida, down here in Fort Charlotte, by Fort Myers is, it takes. Well, you got to realize too that I quit driving in 1990, basically seriously in 95, because uh, the law had gotten real tough on my ass, and it wasn't DUI. You know, I always had safe driver. It was the fact that because I lived here so long, and I get pulled over, and I would have driving for suspended, and once you've got five, I'm like I've got, they will throw you in jail with no bond, and they take it pretty seriously, and they don't care if you're fucking working. We don't, they don't care if you don't have a way to work. They don't care. It just doesn't matter. And so that was the bottom line of me quitting driving, and that was over 20 years ago. And now I have an electric bicycle, which I was trying to get years ago, but I wasn't, really worried about it because my legs worked. And the only reason I got one was because my legs quit working, and I would have liked to have been able to buy one when I was making money, so I could get a more expensive model that was real nice. The one I got was, I have beat the hell out of this bike, and I'm trying to retire it. I've got another bike over there that was supposed to be running on my birthday of last year, and it's still upside down on the handlebars over there with no end in sight. I want to get it. I want to get it running because this bike. I've had this bike like 10 years, and boy, I know a lot about it and everything, but it's tired. And I like to. What I like to do is get to a point with it where have another bike running, and I can uh, basically either let somebody borrow, or give this to somebody. I could never sell it because this is it's so beat up. I could never sell it. It'd have to be somebody I knew, so that if there was something wrong with it, I could fix it. Because I've done everything to that bike. I mean, there's things I won't touch. I have uh, I have my bicycle guy do, which he owns a shop, and he's very good. He's from day one. He's been a part of my bicycle, and he knows that when I come in there and I need work done, that I can't walk down the street. I can't run. I can't pedal a bike anymore. And he knows that's the only way I can get around. Gee, it's not like I have a whole bunch of people offer me rides or anything. So that bike's the only way I have to get anywhere. And he knows that, and he knows if I walk in there, he'll take care of it. So he's seen this bike go from brand new to where I used to just polish even I would polish the spokes. He's seen it go from that to fucking beat to hell. The welds are broken. Um, I burnt one motor out, one electric motor out. I ran it just till it burned up. Not burn up. I mean burn out. I guess. Oh, I know what it was. No, it was the helical gears. Helical gears are the gear reduction. They're called helical because it's like I don't know. You have to look at the picture. But anyway, they're helical gears, and it's common. They mesh the curve. It's pretty cool looking when you take them apart. But I had a problem with something with the helical gears, and so I just ordered, and I got a new motor, and I put a whole new motor on it, brand new motor. So I got that motor 3 4 years ago. I'll probably due for another one pretty soon, unless I get my other bike running. And the other bikes just kind of, a lot of things with me. Sometimes I hurt so bad. I mean, really hurt bad. The act of standing up, as in getting up out of this chair and standing up. It's like sometimes like that kind of hurts bad. Sometimes when I'm in bed and I'm not in bed long enough, and I know I need more rack time, but I have to go to the bathroom. Well, you have to get up to go to the bathroom. You can't. I'm not going to wear diapers. I'm not going to pee in a bottle or whatever. So I have to get up and I have to make my way to the bathroom, and it is so painful sometimes. Like this is fucked up, and I haven't gotten better, and it gets worse. You know, I don't know what to do. It's like you know, when I sometimes when I ask for help, I get the opposite. You know, it's like fuck. So I just kind of try to, um, it used to be I could walk normal for about 100 yards. I could walk perfectly normal. The pain would be building up and everything. I could walk kind of normal for 100 yards. I can't even walk 10 feet and look normal now. Everything I do is fucked up. I mean, it's like God damn it. Um, I used to be used to be in such good shape and everything went to hell. Well, anyway, now I've been talking exactly 2 hours. Break time. We're going to break right here. We're going to Big Action 9. I wish I could put on. No, I can't do anything. Don't put anything on the TV or anything. They're going to copyright infringement and shut me down. They did that one time, like where something like, oh, the song may be copyrighted in another country. We were shut down in Portugal. No, it wasn't Portugal. I'm sorry. I just said that because you speak Portuguese. But there was like Australia, I think was one. Australia and one or two other countries that said, you shut me down because I played. I know it wasn't had music playing in the background. I thought, so I come back in, and I'm like, why is it off, man? I was like, oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. And I'm glad that I didn't get in big trouble for it or anything. But anyway, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna take a break. I may get a slice of pizza or something. Um, God, I really wish that girl. Her name was Renee, and I only met her a couple of times. But I really liked her. And I really wanted to hang out and you know talk to her and maybe drink a beer or whatever. And I never got a chance to, and I don't know. I haven't seen her in so long. But she was Portuguese, and she was very pretty. Very pretty. She had long brown hair. I haven't seen her in a long time. Um, anyway, Brazil, man, is it hot in Brazil? I mean, I guess it is, huh? I mean, Florida right now is hot as heck. I mean, it's not hot right now tonight. Some nights it's oppressive, but tonight's kind of cool. And to me, cool is anything below 70. It's cool. Um, in the summertime, we get down to around. You'll be lucky to get to 70 at night, and even then the humidity's so high, it's incredible. You at night you're usually 75 or something like that. In the once the rainy season starts, and that's what we call it. We don't call it monsoon. We call it the rainy season. Once the rainy season starts, it's humid, it's hot, 24/7. Hot during the day, blazing hot, and then it'll rain during the afternoon because there's so much water in the atmosphere. And then at night, it's humid with a lot of mosquitoes, lots and lots of mosquitoes. And so so nighttime activities like going camping, is usually a wintertime thing, or when once everything dries out, that's when you go camp. You don't want to do it when it's all wet, when the alligators are roaming and the snakes are everywhere. And, it's just kind of nasty. And people do it, but see, the army kind of ruined me on camping. I did it a few times, but man, well, I'm old. God, I keep forgetting how old I am. I'm ancient, man. I'm older than dog shit, as they say. And I used to go camping when I lived up by New York City because you, I'd be riding around in my car and I'd have a fishing pole. I'm from Florida. I like to fish. And the girl's like, "What are you doing with a fishing pole?" Like, well, I go fishing. Like, where do you go fish? I go anywhere there's water. There's no water. There's water everywhere. And they were amazed, and I'd go camping sometimes and take these girls fishing, and they would just love it. Oh, look what I caught! They'd be jumping up and down. They'd be so happy, and they'd ready to get naked. I mean, I'm just kidding about that, but I mean, it really, you know, I I taught a couple of girls how to fish, and not much about it. Throw that worm out there and reel it in. It's bass. You're gonna catch a bass or something. And I used to go down by the George Washington Bridge, and I would fish down there, and I would go and I'd get some shrimp, and I'd throw it in the Hudson River, and nobody fished, and I was like fishing, and the next thing you know, over the course of this is like wintertime. I mean, it's cold, but you had and I'm like, I wanted to fish, and I had me, and I'd go down there, and people would see me, and there's a lot of people around New York and stuff, so a couple people see, there might be 1,000 people see, some of those people are going to go fishing. Next thing you know, people were fishing, and when I moved back to Florida, like the next year and stuff, oh, they're starting to catch fish in the Hudson River, duh, there's water there, dumbass. It ain't that dirty. Say all you want, So, now people are catching fish in the Hudson River. That I started fishing there in 1986. You know, you know, I sit there the first time I was fishing there. I'm the only one there, and people are, "You catch anything?" I said, "No, I'm just maybe I will, maybe I won't." Next thing you know, like the next week there's 3 or 4. The next week there's a whole bunch of people, and the year before that, the years before that, I didn't see anybody. So maybe I started it. I don't know. Gosh, I had fun up there though. I thought New Jersey was great. I did, and like I said, it was MTV. You know, um, I don't know, man. It was kind of like how would you say? It wasn't disco. It was more rock and roll, but it was more like, like Robert Palmer. It's simpler, irresistible. Where Robert Palmer was Emerson, Lake and Palmer. It was like the hippie shit. And here he is in a business suit with all these hot girls dancing. It's like, yeah, everybody went towards the sex thing. It was the 80s. It was like all everybody went for the sex thing. It was like kind of cool. But then again, you also had AIDS, so you're real careful. I mean, I was real. I didn't. I wasn't much. I was kind of. I still am kind of shy, like real shy. And well, now I'm old. And, you know, I mean, back then, even when I was, marketable or whatever, I was still because you were scared. You didn't want to just have casual sex with a girl and not know much about her. So yeah, and the girls for the most part were the same way. They didn't want to. They weren't just wham bam, whatever. And so usually you would date. Uh, Not always, but sometimes, and I found out that the ones that I dated for a couple of weeks, and wow, man, they were, how would you say, the relationship would generally last longer because you took time to get to know them. You didn't think of them, I think, as I wouldn't say a piece of meat, maybe. I don't know how to put that, but you had more respect for them, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. There's I do respect it, but I mean, there's many women that I've hung out with. I respected them all. What I mean is, I don't look at a girl just as a sex object. Of course, I do look at them as sex objects. Yes, I do. But there's also there's a lot more to um, it's a lot more to everybody, man or woman. That you know, you can you can be superficial or whatever, but if you're in a relationship with somebody, you should listen to them. Um, when they say something, you shouldn't ha ha, or if they say they want or need something, you can't. And this has happened to me a lot, where or they don't say it, but it's reinforced over time that that's exactly what they're thinking. Oh, you don't need that. I know what you need. Where people they don't get you what you ask for. If you say, I really need this, they'll get you something that they think you need. and you can't live that way. You can't let other people um, impose their um, mindset or thoughts, or whatever, on you. If you say you want something or you need something, that's the way to happiness. I think is, say you ask for something and they give you something that's like totally fucking bullshit, and just say I don't want it. Um, there's what when I was younger and I was working and making money, I didn't worry about anything. I tell people, for Christmas or birthday, don't worry about it, or if they insisted, something bullshit. But I'm old and I'm fucking poor, and sometimes, it's like, well, I could really use something, and they give me something else, and I just kind of expect it sometimes, and it's a disappointment. I never had a computer, and this is a Chromebook I have right here. It's not a bad one. The first one I got was the cheapest you could get, and that was like 3 years ago or something. And I had never ever in my life had a computer or laptop or anything. I was so happy. And some people, they, oh, it's just an Android with a keyboard. And I'm like, well, that suits me fine. I can listen to music. I can order parts. I can do all kinds of stuff that I couldn't do with my phone. It's a bigger picture. And so to me, and I get lost on the computer so easy. And there have been people, I guess, taking advantage of that. But I've never, I was a carpenter. My computer was my speed square. My, I can do a lot of math. I can do a lot of math in my head, mainly geometry and stuff, from being a framing carpenter. But good with fractions and stuff like that. I mean, what we do, basic math. The derivatives and the calculus and stuff that I learned in physics and high school and calculus. I don't know that stuff, because I can remember the awesome stuff that we did learn, like we learned in physics class in senior in high school how to like when a rocket takes off, it's loaded with this much fuel for a stage. Say you could tell by the equations and everything at any point as it's going up where it would be, and they still do that with SpaceX launches. They'll show the thing and they'll say it's nominal or whatever, maybe ahead or behind a few feet or something. And the speed and everything is calculated. And they do this. Um, you know, there's people that can do this by hand without a computer, without punching it all into a computer and say, there you go, oh, my computer did it for me. They can do this shit by hand. And, or they can use a slide rule or a calculator, not just a computer and go poof. I mean, somebody has to learn how to do it the hard way. You know, why's that fan on? Let me turn this fan on. Let me go to the bathroom. Let me get a piece of pizza or something. I'm talking way too much. I've talked for 2 hours and 15 minutes almost, and it's time for break. We're going to commercial, and here's the commercial. Dun, 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 dun. I got to pee. Ugh. Oh, good. They couldn't see. I mean, man. Oh, come on, man. Man. Man, when I got in my spine and everything, it's not real bad. Yeah. Leave the door up there in front of my body. Crap. Damn it. Wish I could sleep. Hell. Yeah. I used to run through the jungle. I can't even walk through the palmettos. Damn. steal my lines. The only time I even feel comfortable is when Beth's around. She's not my girlfriend. She's my goddamn best friend. God, I miss her. Goddamn. Yeah, they're nice. Can't afford to do it. Come on, ladies. Shoot. She said she was going to be. There's one. What's this doing here? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Where's my cigarettes? Damn it. What is this shit doing here? Excuse me. Coming through. Let me come over here. This is this chair I'm sitting in. Now how in the fuck did that happen? Is that magic? Is it evil force? I don't fucking know. You know, never had a problem when I was younger. I get old and every fucking I don't know. Ah, here's Johnny. I think this has been in the family more than 50 years. Um, I lent it to a friend of mine one time to chop some wood. Um, I've never used it. I had the axe, and I think I gave that away. I don't know if I still have my axe, but I forgot about that. Huh, son of a bitch, I didn't think about that. Might have gave it away. But the hatchet we've had since hell, since I was a little kid. We lived in Central Florida for a while. Central Florida to me is more exotic than the coast here. We're kind of in the swamp zone. You got to drive a few miles to the beach. But you get in Central Florida above Lake Okeechobee, and they have crystal clear lakes. If you look on a map, you see all the lakes, and they're beautiful. So they're not all the same, but you have these lakes. I learned how to swim on a sand bottom crystal clear lake in Lake Placid, Florida, and the thing about living in the center of the state, center sideways, not center up and down, is you can go to either coast. Like when we went to Lake Placid, you go to Fort. Um, I forget what was directly over there, but or you could go over to Tampa or Sarasota or somewhere like that. When you live in those inland communities that people consider now kind of um, behind the times, rural, whatever. I don't know. The coast, when they put I-75 down the west coast of Florida, the east coast was already built up along the coast. The west coast wasn't. The west coast was small, and the center part of the state was every bit as thriving as the west coast, or even more so. And as soon as they put that I-75 down the west coast, this coast took off, and it's like the center didn't change for a long time. I remember going back over there. I used to drive through there when I went to college in Daytona, and me and my dad and I think my second wife rode over there back, in the late '80s or something, and not much had changed. I mean, it had grown a little bit, but it hadn't grown exponentially like this area. This area, little sleepy fishing communities, boom, it just boomed, and it kind of, and I wouldn't say it stagnated. I think it probably gave it more time to think about things. When sometimes money rolls in, and it's not always poof. All of a sudden you got, I don't know. I do know that this county where I live in, Charlotte County, has always been about money. Oh yeah, we're taking the land away from the owners living along Charlotte Harbor because we're going to turn it into a park. So they can live there, but they can't really do much. And as soon as they die or move, we're taking the land away from them, turning it into a park. And then as soon as they get all the land, well, boom. Hey, here comes big money. Let me build a big project down there. Dun, 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 dun. Now he doesn't have to buy out any owners. He's just got to bribe the county. This county's always been about money. What do you mean all those dinosaur bones and artifacts out there? We've got pipes to lay. We're putting a road in here. We're not archaeologists. Yeah, that's Charlotte County, baby. Yep. Since I've been here. always, always, money was king. Blow sunshine up somebody's ass. You can't blow it up mine too much. Been around. My cave. However, this is best chair over here. I want to turn the slide on, but not yet, not yet, not yet. Now I'm looking over here and I'm getting a. Let's turn that back again. I'm getting a radiation signature from there. Kind of strange. Is it a heat signature or what? I'm not sure what it is. So let's go back real quick. Yeah, I'm getting that heat signature distinctly. Yes, indeed. Let's try again. I could be wrong. I may be wrong. I have been wrong before. I've been wrong a couple of times once. But to tell you the truth, I've been wrong more than I have been wrong. And that is the truth. That is not a fantasy. I've also found out that how do I say it? The hell is that? Okay. It's just weird the way it was. And I've also found out that in my ancient age and stupidity, I haven't smoked a cigarette, have I? I haven't smoked a cigarette now. I gotta smoke a cigarette. Because if I don't smoke a cigarette, I'll have too much oxygen and I'll blow up, ignite, and catch fire. So I gotta replace some of the oxygen with what do you call it? Nicotine and tobacco smoke. Yes. And where is? I had cigarettes. I thought I had cigars. Cigarillos is what they say in Spanish. I think it's called cigarillos. And sometime here or there or everywhere, I want to just I need to control myself. So about I just guys there's my uses. Yes, sir, baby. Yes, sir, baby. Wish I had a book of maps like that. Then we used to have it, maybe I'll go find it real quick. It'd be fun. Maybe I could do that. I don't know. A long time. I'm saying, we used to have that one atlas that was really, well, atlas, that was a good one too. Let's see. We used that on the good shit. Yeah. So I'm screwed for now. Until shit. Oh, no. So who knows? Who's gonna say that? You say it, not me. What the hell? Do I look flashlight ass? Wait.
That's what you can throw that one up probably before it goes up. Ah, man. Oh, big old thing. You just do it. Had to go. And now it's close at the bottom. Hey. Say Wednesday. Oh man. Ooh, damn. That's not bad. Where is why? No, no. Oh, God. Tonight I should. Oh, I gotta see right here. Good. Oh, dumbass. Oh, pizza. Yeah, I gotta sweep this place. Sweep the clock. Very hot up there. Damn, it hurt. Oops. Clock. Out there. I didn't even check the phone, you know? Should I do that? I should. Let's check it out. You gotta make some more coffee. You have to do that. You can narrate. Boy, damn it. Who's this? Oh, fuck me. Still there. They're quit. They're gonna fucking shit in your fucking asses, bitches. Fucking cunt. really funky bitch. Oh shit, I don't know. Asshole. Who's fuck asshole? Don't tell the guy from Brazil what I'm gonna do. Mm-hmm. Say these fucking assholes constantly fucking with me, and they're poisoning me and my mom. And I'm going to burn this house down right on live to you two. You fucking cunts. What are you gonna do? Fucking quit doing that shit, you nasty bitches. I mean, seriously, come on, man. You have to be such cunts. Really, motherfucker. Where's what the fuck is that thing? I don't see it. Where's my cigarette? Where's the fire in? Fire in. Douches. Oh, they're coming back. Oh, God, what dicks. What motherfucking dicks. What douchebags. What motherfucking douchebags. Douchebags. What douchebags. You're a douchebag. You're a douchebag. God damn, man. What the fuck's with you? Oh, you fucking asshole? Do I need to ask that? Or is it something just, I shouldn't need to ask. No bitch up there will fucking. Okay, I'm gonna fire up the good shit then. I'm gonna hit you with the other shit. Damn, guys. The fuck is your fucking